Hello? 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 You can't type noddle. No, you did. You typed it just before. Hello, hello, Chris. Hello, Chibi. Hello, Doc. Hello, friends. That's all right, Doc. Obviously the right word. Absolutely. Welcome back after 3 weeks to a complicated recap of a complicated game. Right in the middle of a lot of weird stuff happening. So that's gonna be fun. It has been a while. 3 weeks, I think. Just the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So there is much to recap and much to be going forwards with, because if you think the weird Kinky Ninja was where it stops being weird, you are wrong. Medela is what your keyboard decides noodle is. There's something wrong with the word. I think, big tech are trying to stop people typing the word noodle for some reason. So yeah, let's do stuff which involves going here. There's here. Right. So what has happened so far? I might as well do a rough recap of the whole thing, because it has been a while. So we are the Noodle. The Noodle themselves. Where are we? That's the title sequence. Here we are. We're the Noodle. We're Noodle the box. Not charged. What's the word? Good start. What is the word? Hired, I guess. We're doing a mission. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know the military terminology. I'm a civvy. It's fine. So we have been tasked. I think that's the word I was looking for. Tasked with infiltrating a terrorist hostage situation on a military facility island in Alaska, which is a nuclear disposal facility. The terrorists have taken over with the help of the genome soldiers that work there, who instigated a coup, and they have held two very important people hostages, and we are to investigate what is going on, try and help the hostages, try and work out whether or not they can actually fulfill their threat of launching a nuclear bomb, and if so, stop them. We're an unpaid intern. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's why this whole thing's Black Ops. It's got nothing to do with, military secrets or anything. They just don't want to admit that they haven't paid us. So we're doing that, and we have met some people along the way, including the ones we have the phone number of. So this is Colonel Korn. He's our command. He's our colonel, I guess, the person in charge of us. We both used to work as in a special unit called Foxhound. He was the leader. We were a soldier. There is also our scientific officer, Dr. Valen, SMRT. There is our technical officer, Dr. Baby, SMRT. There's, we'll get to that in a second. There is our old master, back in the Foxhound days, Master Sea Glasses, who randomly phoned us up when we started this mission, because apparently he got our phone number from the colonel. There's... We've just met that person, we'll do that in a second. Dr. Nella? Oh yeah, a weapons expert. Dr. Nelhav, I forgot about that. Convenient, prefers Connor glasses, fair enough. In investigating all of these things, and we have met both hostages, they have both died of heart attacks. This seems suspicious. But they have informed us that there is the capability of launching a nuclear weapon here, because they have resurrected an old military research thing called Metal Gear. And that is the method by which they're going to launch a nuclear weapon, because this isn't a nuclear disposal facility, or it is, but they have also been doing some secret research here that even the president does not know about. In fact, it would be rather embarrassing if the president did know about it, because apparently the president's been going on about nuclear disarmament and stuff. Like that on a covert op, the colonel just gives out the number for the operative. I know. Seems very unprofessional. In doing so, we have met someone else. Firstly, we met them like this. And then we met them like this. This is Cece. And this is the Colonel Korn's niece, who is a soldier who worked on this facility and is one of the few people who worked here that did not join in the coup with the terrorists. And she, apparently, has the keycard, or one of the keycards, that is required to disarm Metal Gear should they decide to go nuclear. So we need to find her. She is currently disguised as a guard in the facility somewhere. She's very tall, but so are all the other guards in the area, because it's got to be a challenge. And along the way, we also got some advice from an anonymous fan who has badges and stickers. Don't know how they didn't pixelate those, but there we are. They informed us of various things like minefields and lava floors. Forget what CC stands for? I don't know. Is it just Colonel Corn? Candy Corn? Candy Corn, why not? So, yeah, these are all the people we've met along the way who haven't died of heart attacks yet. Things that happened specifically on the last stream include... We'll get to that. Yes, we were warned about the minefield. We met a tank with this friend here. I can't remember what their name was. What was their name? Well, I don't think we found out their name yet. Funbird? I think the Funbirds... Oh, no, yeah, they were called Funbird, weren't they? Yeah, that's Funbird. Cool. So we met Funbird. We blew up their tank by... a carefully choreographed system of grenade throwing involving a ladle. And we made our way into the nuclear storage facility, which required stealth because any fired weapon will cause bad things to happen. The Funbird on his head thirsts for noddle blood. Indeed. He's got a whole thing about birds and snakes and stuff. We found a room with electricity on the floor and gas in the air. In order to solve that, we had to go around and find a weapon. In doing so, we found an area of this building which is populated entirely by very tall guards. But we found our weapon. So we opened the door, and a gas mask while we were there. We opened the door and then we fired a rocket in a very complicated manner and disabled the lava floor. In doing so, we could get to another door which is full of dead people. Which was not exactly something we wanted to see, but it's there. In investigating slightly further, we found the ninja friend who we met earlier, who cut off the hand of one of the terrorists who was shooting at us, and a scientist who wet themselves. The scientist hid in a cupboard, and then we had a fight with the ninja, who I believe we're calling Kink Vader, because throughout the fight, constantly, they implore us to hurt them. And seem to derive some sort of pleasure from the pain that we inflict on them. They demand a hand-to-hand combat fight. Their sword gets thrown away very quickly. And that's basically what happened. I think that's the gist of it. Now I've got to explain more new stuff. Don't really have to draw anything because there's some stuff I need to... A lot of exposition happens here. So... we did the anime guy, kind of. So at the moment, he's still in the locker. I'm going to assume there's a change of clothes in there. So yeah. But in the meantime, our protagonist, Noodle a Box, has a theory. And he phones his superiors in order to investigate this theory. The superiors do not consist of static, they consist of... Corn. Legendary masochist ninja, yes. So, certain things were said during the fight that made the old soldier of Noodle a Box, Dr. Weeb. I don't think we settled on a name, but we did start calling them Dr. Weeb. Or Professor Weeb, or whatever it was. Honestly, their actual name isn't far off that, so... It's Akiro! Thank you for the panda. You like the happy panda. My voice is a bit off today, which is great because this stream requires almost no talking whatsoever. Yeah, so I don't mind calling him Dr. Weave. That's probably the closest we're going to get to an accurate name in this. His name consisted of Uwu speak? Probably. Dr. Weeb. So yes, we phone our superiors and we discuss the suspected identity of the person we're talking to, because during the fight they mentioned that we fought before, and we fought in a similar manner before, and possibly in a similar place. And we phone up our superior officer and say, "You're thinking what I'm thinking? Because if that's the person I think it is, they should be dead. They shouldn't be alive. I killed them in Zanzibar many years ago, back when I was part of Foxhound. Or was I part of Foxhound? Probably not, actually. They were part of Foxhound. We weren't, I think. The past is a complicated time. Anyway." So, yes, Kink Vader. We recognise the name of Kink Vader because that's somebody they used to be our comrade, and then things went sour, and Noodle and Kink Vader fought each other, and Noodle killed Kink Vader in Zanzibar many years ago. It was in Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2. See, I've never seen any of those games, so I'd love to see them at some point. I imagine they're not quite as cinematic as this one, but yes, Metal Gear Solid is the third or fourth game in the Metal Gear series, so they should be a colon after Metal Gear, to be honest. But there we go. Third? Okay, cool. And I think probably Metal Gear Solid 5 probably covers a bit of that ground as well. I know a bit about that. Anyway, the point being, we should have killed this person, and they're here, which is a bit weird. It's a crow. I can't see that. Where is it? Oh, there it is. That's an interesting technique. Thank you for the good gif. They should have died years ago. In fact, they did die years ago, until we are told by Dr. Valen. They say, "Yeah, about that. That kind of didn't happen." And we say, "I'm pretty sure it did. I was there." And she said, "No, the whole dying thing. Actually, no, that the dying thing did happen. But then we sort of resurrected him." And to which you say, "I'm sorry, could you please explain a little bit?" Because Valen used to be part of Foxhound as well. She was a scientific research person. And she said, "Yeah, when you'd finished with all that, we kind of dragged his dead body off the battlefield, and I was in the field of very experimental genome therapy, and we thought maybe we could possibly bring him back to life, and we kind of succeeded, a bit. It was a bit of a vegetable for a while, but, you know, we were on the forefront of scientific advancements and so on and so forth." Colonel Cornan butts in and says, "I knew nothing about this. Would you care to explain how or why this happened?" And she said, "No." So yeah, apparently, Kink Vader died, was brought back to life through genome therapy, and it didn't go quite well. Which may possibly explain why he was constantly going, "Hurt me!" throughout the entire fight. Quite how he got to this point, I don't think is ascertained, but nonetheless, it is explained why this person didn't actually die. And Dr. Valen has some secrets that she hasn't been necessarily telling us about her past. What with resurrecting people and such. It's a bit of an odd hobby, but, you know, gotta do something. He was definitely already a masochist beforehand. I mean, anyone who invites a fight to the death, I suppose. So yeah. I think we know he's a cyborg. Yeah, it's clearly not fully human. There's some sort of augmentation going on there. What with the electrical glitches and the... Did I mention the electrical glitches? He does glitch out a lot and bangs his head against the floor. Strange fellow. What the first thing Snake says in the game? Ooh, what? How? Anyway, point being, Valen had something like, "Why is there a cyborg ninja?" I mean, it's a thing you need to address relatively quickly, I think. So there's some of an explanation as to why this cyborg ninja is somebody we already know and thought was dead, because Varlan was doing experiments in genome therapy, the early parts of genome therapy, and you know, we're now fighting against a massive facility full of genome soldiers, so clearly the research was, you know, beneficial enough to be spread out. Yeah. It's fine, don't worry about it. He's a bit mental, but it's fine. So yeah, I think that's all we learn from this particular conversation. It's difficult to know what we learn and what we don't. You'll learn everything eventually. It might not be in the order that the game's in, but you will. Don't worry about it. So we learn that, and then we go back to our room with somebody who we will name shortly. So let's get some stuff that involves being able to draw. Oh, autosave already. Haven't done anything. Okay, cool. Everything's shifted slightly over. Gonna have to move away from my microphone, sorry. Right, so how to draw? That's a question. So we return to the locker where we last saw our scientific friend. Again, I'm going to assume there was a change of clothes in there. Though you did just go through the last step and Noobs did call him Owo Senpai at some point. It is honest.
Alert Noi Eyes.
Noi Eyes! Noi Eyes! Hello, Try. How you doing? How goes? How goes, friendos? I hate drawing open doors in perspective. It never looks right.
All ERT no ISE.
Wait, do I have it? All ERT no ISE. I don't. What does ERT stand for, and what does ISE stand for? Also, is there a delay of some sort? Yay! Arrived. I wanted it to be a bit more special than that, but circumstances. It was just all crammed into an envelope. Sorry about that. But I'm glad you got it at the very least. So how do I draw people? How did I can't remember how I drew them before. Still waiting on that birthday surprise. It'll definitely be a surprise. You won't see it coming. Probably with a Taki anime shirt, probably. They did have big glasses. I think sort of hair like that, probably. No, it's very sort of, I don't know, something like that. A mech on the shape. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Wet trousers. No, there was a change of clothes in the locker. It's fine. Don't worry. He will get a change of clothes soon, actually. Kind of. Wearing some sort of lab coat, I guess. Cleaning nanobots. Always with the nanobots. The first thing they researched here. Like, it's all very well trying to hire a bunch of rocket scientists and nuclear experts, but if they keep pissing themselves, we're going to need something to clean that up. So yeah, they're stepping out and going. Is the mad ninja gone? To which you say, yeah, I guess. It's a bit weird, but gone. Let's draw Noodle because I need practice. Dip, 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 dip. So yeah, while I'm doing this, feel free to let me know how your day has been going and such. Badoodle-doo. The Dutch railroad hated you? Oh no. So now you're tired. Eating porridge, watching Fran. Ooh. Say hello to them. Got home, probably make some food because you skipped lunch. Ooh, what was class about? Hastily and frantically did your sister's hair as a trial for her wedding. Ooh, did it go well? Talked about fosterage in medieval Irish society. Interesting. That is a subject about which I know nothing, and as a consequence I am curious. I assume we still got our sock. How do hands work? It went okay considering. Nice. Hands are fake, they're a myth. Oh, they're a myth put about by glove companies. So yeah, you tell him that the ninja has already gone, and you know we'll make sure that the bad things don't happen because we are here to help the people who are working here. Apart from the ones who were engaged in the coup. You're not engaged in the coup, are you? And he goes, nope, that's why I'm hiding in a locker. Did the requisite promotion of good things on the Twitter. Ooh, yay. What? Fosterage in medieval society was very common, unlike nowadays when it's really just for emergencies. Basically, everyone did it as part of the social network. It's cool. I seem to understand that sort of like adoption and stuff like that is a common sort of business thing in like Japan. You're very welcome, Try. Thought I'd add a little something. I wanted to do more, but time and circumstances. So yes, we tell him that everything's sorted now. It's fine, don't worry about it. And he goes, "Who are you?" And we say, "We are Noodle the Box." And he goes, "Oh, the Noodle the Box. The, oh my god. I know about you from my animes." No, he doesn't. But probably something simple. He woes about it. And yeah, and he goes, "Oh my god, it's amazing that we've got the actual Noodle the Box here," and he's trying to sort everything out. "Why are you here? Like, I know this is a big thing with the terrorists and all that sort of stuff, but, you know, what are you here to do?" And you say, "Well, I'm here to stop them launching a nuclear bomb." It's fair enough. I think that's a pretty good mission to be going on. Irish children were put into the fosterage system at age 7, because the Irish are blessed with the number 7. Obsessed, sorry. And stayed with their foster parents until, like, 14, 17 years old. Interesting. Anime is very real, can't stress it enough. Absolutely, we are not... If anything, I am downplaying the uwu-ness of this character. I know you from my hand. It's, again, not far off. Tempted at the end of this just to show you these scenes. And we say, yeah, we're here to stop a nuclear launch. And he goes, "Why are you here to stop a nuclear launch? This is a nuclear disposal facility." And he goes... we go, or we say rather, "Well, they're doing a thing here called the Metal Gear Project, and that can launch a nuclear bomb." And the rocket scientist, who we still haven't named yet, says, I don't think you actually learned his name yet, but he says, Metal Gear can't launch a nuclear weapon. I'm working on Metal Gear. I wouldn't work on it if it could launch a nuclear weapon." He says, and we say, "Yes, it can, because the people who are in charge of the project told me that it can launch a nuclear weapon. And if anyone would know it, it would be them." At which point, our friend has a bit of a breakdown, realizing that he's been working on a nuclear weapon, because he didn't know that beforehand. Because apparently it has multiple weapon systems, and he's been working on anti-nuclear devices on it, like a railgun that can fire nuclear weapons out of orbit or whatever. So he gets a bit upset about all this. Because his entire work has been used for bad. Have you ever seen that Mitchell and Webb sketch? The Dr. Evil thing? No, Dr. Death. It was Dr. Death, wasn't it? What did you call this? Your giant death ray. Oh, I see. Yeah. He's not at all happy that his work has been used for bad. Foster parents were paid a fee by the real parents, and in turn they would teach the child necessary skills in society and take care of them. Oh, so it's kind of like a sort of boarding school kind of. That's interesting. Only sort of on a personal basis. Now, you know, Irish women were legally allowed to steal food when pregnant. That's why you always ask if you're working on a nuclear weapon. I did not ask that enough when I was at university. It is named during this. I think it's towards the end, maybe. But yeah. This is called Metal Gear. Oh, is this where we learned it's called Rex? Oh, that's it. Which would make sense. He's working on it. So yeah, he says, yeah, the Metal Gear Rex. I was working on. You know, there was radar technology on it. There was a rail gun. I had no idea there was a nuclear launch thing. Like, nah, that's fine, Kira. It's fine. My memory of this is almost certainly worse than yours. You ask it at every job. You can never be so sure. Apprenticeship and more personal. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so he gets very upset about all this. So, oh, why did they do this? We tested all the... I mean, we did test, like, nuclear launch stuff in sort of simulations, hence all these massive computers. There are computers here. Like big old reel-to-reel things, probably. Yeah, we did loads of simulations and simulation runs, particularly, like, mainly to test sort of the shooting out of things, but I suppose if they want to build a nuclear weapon, then that would have been helpful for that as well. No, why did nobody tell me these things? I'm so sad. is kind of an idiot. Just want to point that out. Leave it at that. Etc. Oh yeah, that's why he went into robotics. Partly because of the anime, and partly because sort of the computer simulations, the peacekeeping, the nuclear deterrence. Well, not deterrence. The deterrence from nuclear stuff. Not using nuclear stuff as nuclear deterrent. You know what I mean. So yeah, basically his life work has been used for evil when he wanted it to be used for good. I don't know why I put on a German accent, but there we are. So that's a problem, and it's being installed in a particular version of Metal Gear because Metal Gear is a long-running project of various sort of incarnations. This is its most recent version because it was scrapped for a while and now it's been brought back secretly. He wanted to make robots like the ones you see in anime. Yeah, he does have like posters on the wall of sort of big old mechs. Loading. I don't know how to draw mechs, so here's a robot chicken. Yep. There's also some posters here that are references to old films. I think in the remake on the GameCube, there's a poster of Mario. You'll have robot chicken. Anywho. So we learn all this and we say, well, look, that's fine. We're here to stop it from happening. So if you could give us any advice, that would be helpful. And he says, I can give you... I've got a key card, which is how you've managed to get this far by getting successively more upgraded key cards. And I just happen to have one that's just above your thing. You think there was a Zone of Enders poster too, which was Kojima's first game? Was it really? I played a bit of that. It was a weird game. So yeah, he gives you a key card so that you can access more areas of the thing. And he says, yes, there is, you know, I'll help you where I can and sort of give you information and stuff like that. I'll come with you and we can sort of work this out together. And you go, look, I told somebody with a gun that they couldn't come with me because it's going to slow me down. Like you've literally just pissed yourself. Can't do that. And so he goes, okay, that makes sense, I guess. But I can do stuff and I can move around. And he says, no, you stay here. You're a scientist. You're not capable of dealing with yourself in this situation. Get back in your locker. Stay safe because I might need you at some point. Give me your phone number and I'll phone you up at some point and we can exchange information about the nerdy stuff that I don't want to think about. I'm probably going to have to use the key cards in some sort of scientific way, so you're going to have to help me with that. You know more about this than me. I want you to stay safe so that we can stay in contact. And he says, well, it's not really safe here. What with the insane ninja? Everyone in this part of the building just died, so I am going to go somewhere. But I have a system to help me. And what he does is he goes to a wall. I don't think this happens. He might already have it on, I don't know. But it goes to a wall. It looks an awful lot like an exit sign. Don't remember exactly. Artistic license, it's fine. And he... He does a thing. That's what he does. I always introduce these things long before I could possibly finish drawing them, thereby sort of ruining the purpose of having the drawing. Anyway, so he's very excited. Anatomy, help! Where have you gone? I knew you were around here somewhere. Why have you forsaken me? I do at some point actually need to start drawing real human beings. Here's anatomy. Oh, okay, so it's got big. No. So yes, he goes to a hook and he appears to grab nothing from it. There's the hook. On the wall. It's always good to have hooks in scientific facilities. And you say, why are you picking up nothing from the wall? To which he says, it's not nothing. And then he puts it on. The nothing. And then he goes... Hang on. Then he goes... Like that. Stealth camouflage! Because that's a thing, apparently. And they have a bunch of these in this office. And he says, with this stealth camouflage, I can kind of go around places and I can sort stuff out for you. So, yeah, if you need me, you got my phone number. I'll stay safe and I'll see what I can do to help get information about what's going on. And yeah, give you a hand. I'm still here. Goodbye. And so we part ways, happy in the knowledge that the scientist is probably safe because nobody can see them. And anything goes in an anime, yes, apparently going invisible as well. So he says these are prototype things. They're a bit glitchy. You can kind of see wobbliness. Yeah, exactly, yeah. See, Kira's always one step ahead of me. Why not use that when the ninja attacked? Very good question. Probably caught off guard. I completely forgot about this. That's fair enough. It does become important later, so I should probably mention it. It becomes important a couple of times, actually. And explains how this character can get around without being killed. Yeah, it's like a wibbly-wobbly sort of thing. Kira's Noodle Master, yes. Much like the Final Fantasy streams, I bow down to Kira's superior knowledge. So yeah, we have now... Oh, and he says, oh, by the way, my name is... Insert name here. There's the heat haze cloak thing, yes. Also, I think he does point out that it's an optical camouflage, it's not a thermal camouflage or anything like that, so special cameras can still see, you know, heat signatures and stuff like that, but it's pretty good. Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Indeed. The Weeping Angels can still see it, but, you know, there's very little you can do about that. Ooh, ghost. Final Nudum Maester. Yes, Maester, because we will get on to Final Fantasy X at some point. Dr. Weeb, are we going with Dr. Weeb? I do really want to do Final Fantasy X because it is just a film. Very straightforward. But I also want to do 8, because 8's bonkers. Uwu, Dr. Uwu Weeb. FF10, you love that game. It's good. It's yeah, really enjoyed it. The only good Final Fantasy. It's very different from its predecessors, but I do like it. Uwu Weeb. We're going with Dr. Uwu Weeb. That's fine. I don't mind telling you their actual name. Okay. Hashtag, that's my Final Fantasy. This lover's actually yes. So his actual name is Otacon, or the code name that he gives himself is Otacon. This isn't his actual name. This is a code name, as is the case for most people here. And that stands for Otaku Convention. So yeah, we are very much, which he then explains is otakus are people who enjoy the animes. So yeah, Ollie just came in to shout in your face a few times and then leave. Just gonna check. Holly is a cat, yeah. His IRL name is Hal. I forgot about. Oh yes, Hal Emmerich. Always liked the surname Emmerich. She is small cat. Oh, left. So anyway, Dr. Uweeb phases away into the night. Goodbye. And we then poodle along ourselves elsewhere, because there are no more people alive in this part of the building. Have a quick drink. Right. We move along. And we return upstairs. Or downstairs. I'm never quite sure on which one was above which. To the place I belong, West Virginia. To the area that we found the gas mask and the rocket launcher. That just so happened to be populated by very, very tall guards. So let's see if... hang on, let's... Yep. Get some of that symmetry going in here. There's a series of cubicles. It's a text-to-speech.
West Virginia. Noodle Mama. Bake Me Home. Noodle Road.
Did I play my version of that in a minor key on the piano? Sounds very, what's the word? Sort of solemn. So yeah, there's also a table. Pretty special. Hazel sings so beautifully, I know. Yeah, that colon P bass. It leaves a lot to be desired. This kind of looks like an area in XCOM. So we go into this large sort of office-y area because they decide to house the office staff underneath the nuclear storage facility. Makes perfect sense. This is a glass, I think. Something like that. Probably not glass. It is now. Why not? It's not like we have to think about their welfare or anything. There's some steps going down or whatever. And we're sort of hiding in here somewhere. I'm just doing a sneak. It's a miss. Hello. Office staffs don't need natural light. Yes, there's a lot of artificial lighting going on in here. Can you tell I like drawing in flat 1-point perspective? So yeah, and there are guards patrolling this area. Office staff start burning like vampires in natural light. I mean, not far off. Some of the office stuff. Well, I work in an office. Or I have worked in offices, and I am. Thing is, I work indoors all the time, and my brother works outdoors the vast majority of the time. And if we just put our arms together, it's insane the difference. Like I am like a sheet of A4 paper, and he is like a well cooked parsnip. You're not here. You're wibbly wobbly invisible. We've just met someone who's wibbly wobbly invisible. That's nice. Hello or not. But yeah, it's amazing what having a tan and comparing that to somebody who doesn't leave the house is like. He's well cooked, but I'm crispy. I suppose. I'm crispy by name, not by nature. So yeah, there are guards wandering around here. And they happen to be balaclavad, or balaclavad, as some people like to say. Oh, how do you draw guns? You draw people holding guns as like an arm out, yeah, something like this. And then there's like a thing that the hand sort of goes down like that or something. There's also sort of glassy thing there because no one has eyes in this. That's like a gun, isn't it? But yes, and all of these guards are suspiciously very tall. But you now have access to more areas so that you can explore this place a little better. Good work. So here's another one, just sort of draw it quickly as possible. You get the idea, it's not particularly important what the details look like. It's fine, here's a guard, it's fine, don't worry about it. They're holding a gun, it's scary. Stay hidden. I just want to point out in this game that you can just kill everyone if you want to. It's technically a stealth game, but it doesn't really matter all that much. It's better if you stay stealthy, but it's not like Hitman or something, where if you get seen, it is somewhat problematic. I'm glad you small bean. It's easier to kill the ball in the remake, is it? Interesting. Here is also a gun. That is gun-like. Definite gun. That is how gun do. Also definite gun. Help is required, apparently. In the original version, it seems like the guards never stop, they just come out of the woodwork, but they added the Metal Gear Solid 2 mechanics to the remake, like them having to radio backup if they spot you. Oh, okay, so if you get them before they do that, then you're sort of in the clear. That's cool. I always forget how much, because I probably played the remake more than I played the original, so I always kind of forget how much the MGS2 added to the formula. Still a monster, yes. You played the original a lot? I think my disc scratched or something like that. I ended up not playing it too much. Or at least one of them scratched. Did I mention this is a 2-disc game? Back in the days when games had multiple discs. Back in the day. Did I say day? Yeah. You train your disc better. Scratching is a bad habit. It is. Don't scratch it. So yes, this is a 2-disc game. We are still on disc 1. I'll let you know when disc 2 comes along. Anyway, point being, you notice that one of the guards has slightly looser clothing. Or tighter clothing, sorry. Slightly smaller clothing than the rest of them. But more importantly, much more importantly, FF7 is 2 Blu-rays. Yes, 2 Blu-rays for a part of the game that was originally half a CD. But, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Supposedly, yeah. I don't know how that's going to work. I suppose you have to sort of install both of them or something. I don't know. I mean, and nowadays a lot of games are downloaded anyway, so it's not too much of an issue, I guess. You still need the hard drive space, though, which is problematic. This is the powerful and not over-sexualized female character. Just you wait, miss. So yeah, and we notice this, but we also notice that a particular exacerbated sway of the hips as this person walks, which is far more important than the tight clothing. And we recall, back to our first power cut, that... Yes, indeed. Yes, we recall to a while ago, we observed, as our friend was running away, was this stream 2? Yes, because I remember that happened straight afterwards. That our friend has a bit of a gait, a bit of a swish of the behind. Also, that person. And we go, that's the person we're looking for. They're undercover, and we got to contact them because they've got the card key we're looking for, and it's the niece of our superior officer, so we should probably make sure they're all right. Still got to change disc even with download. To go to home menu and press a certain button or something you don't remember is counterintuitive on the Vita. I guess it's sort of hard-coded into the thing, I don't... Because I... Is it? I don't know. Yeah, Final Fantasy IX for Vita, changing discs took a long while to figure out. Wonderful. I know because you can emulate, like in these things are basically emulations in the Vita and the... You know, the PlayStation 2 has a PS1 emulator inside of it, and so on and so forth. And they can emulate hardware that's no longer a thing. So you can emulate in... like if you're playing an old PlayStation 1 game that you've bought on the PlayStation Store or whatever, you can emulate swapping controller ports. Because on the old consoles you plugged your controllers into particular ports. But if you've got just sort of a Bluetooth connection, you can't really do that. But you can emulate it if you want. So yeah, I guess they have to do the similar sort of thing with disc swapping, I suppose. Like the file itself is cut up into discs, as it were. I don't know. It's annoying it wasn't intuitive for you, but I'm glad you know now, at the very least. So yeah, anyway, so we have found the person we have been looking for. So we go up to them and we go, hello, and they run away because that's a bit suspicious to be doing that out in the open. And And we go, they just ran away. Draw a whole ass room. Yeah. I wanted to illustrate that there's lots of guards around, and one of them looks different. So yeah, you follow them, or you phone someone up and say, oh, I wonder where they went. And then they say, well, they probably went to the one place that no one else will go. So you go to... Is that what it looks like? Yeah, go to the ladies' bathroom, because that is where none of the other guards will go, because I presume they're all men. They all make men-sounding sounds, anyway. The game implies that they're all men, or I infer from it. The Karina bathroom. So yeah, you pop in there for a sec. Men, 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 manly man. Big old circle. I mean, it's looking dangerously close to Dr. Uwu. Yeah, but there we go. That's fine. So yeah, you go in there and you. Don't know how much of this I'm gonna draw, but you approach the cubicle. There's a set of sinks here, I think. Some mirrors. I'm looking dangerously close to Dr. Wewo. I mean, I do not partake of the animus. The amines. And you hold out your sock. Oop. It's been an hour, the music's changed. What is that? It's a sock. Got like stitching. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're in the women's bathroom and we are wielding a sock. It's fine. There is nothing to be inferred here. This is an action pose, right? Plain dark. That's a sock. We picked up a sock early. That's our weapon. We ascertained this. We are wielding a sock. And a ladle, but we've already used that. We defeated somebody with a revolver using a sock. stuff. Anyway, so we get to the last cubicle, which is the only place this person can be, and we turn the corner to see the toilet, such as it is. It is. An old-fashioned one with a thing above it, chain, whatever. Don't lick the tip. Not absolutely not. You picked up this sock just randomly. Don't lick socks that you've just picked up. It's a bad time. And you see auto-saving. You see clothes discarded in a pile. For it was a guard's outfit, indeed. For it was to distract. She fell down the loo. Yes, she was sucked away. This is all taking place in an aeroplane. But no. It turns out she was behind you the whole time. Oh, yes. Maybe her leg's going this way, if that's fine. How did I draw you? You just sort of had hair everywhere, didn't you? Coming out like that. Bit M-like. There's one of my patented wonderful guns there. That is definitely a gun. It's got a back thing in it. Guns with a thing. And another thing there. Gun, yeah. That's gun. Actually, you should probably keep the boots on, right? Nah. Socks. We're gonna keep socks on. George jumpsuit had to take it all off to poop. Wanna go barefoot in a public bathroom? That's fair. I mean, this is an office bathroom, but still. Yeah, she's not wearing an awful lot else. Look, I remember when I was watching through the movie thing, getting to the scene and going, oh, I'm gonna have to draw that. There's another hand here somewhere. It's fine, don't worry about it. You wear trousers, not pants. Fair enough. It's cold outside. You wear more than one pair of trousers, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. They're still very short though. And this is just a tank top, so it's fine. Can you tell I don't know anatomy? Better get to see Noodle in underwear at some point. Yeah, I can do that. Be patient. You sure about that, Kira? I can fit that in. We can do it. We can have equality here. MGS2. That I mean, no, I reckon there's a good place to do it. Yeah, no, Metal Gear Solid 2 really does go the whole hog, if you'll pardon the expression. But we're not there, are we? So we've managed to avoid drowning. So yeah, you are confronted. I like the difference in anatomy between these two things. This is the PlayStation 1 version, and this is the GameCube. So yes, you are not confronted, I suppose, compacted by no nude, just nude in sexy underwear. Fair enough. Noodle is short. No, Cece's very tall. I can't remember why Cece was very tall. I think I just ended up drawing them too big, and we ran with it. So yes, exposition time. I'm going to take a drink. So this is personal reflection, the scene. We get a conversation between our new friend Cece and the hardened soldier Noodle the Box while she's in underwear, and no real reason. But she could have just put the coat and the shoes there. She didn't have to take everything else off. It was just a quick decoy. But we mention what's happened and all that sort of stuff, and she says, "Yep, cool, I'll help. I have the card key. But before that, I want to talk to you a bit. I want character growth. Thank you very much." She does put on trousers eventually. She does. Yes, she doesn't stay in underwear for the rest of the game. It's just for this scene. So yes, so you have a little chat with her. This is sort of not, as it were, not important, but character growth, yes, over the course of a single scene. And you explain how, she explains how, she's sort of excited to do all this, and she wanted to come. If you remember last time we saw her, we knew that she was a rookie, that she hadn't killed anyone with a gun before because she was shaking and she was hesitant to pull the trigger and all that sort of stuff. And we eventually, shouted her into submission to the point that she started shooting people and going nuts. And, we talk about this, and she says, I want to come with you and I want to help you with this and I want to prove myself. And you go, you still knew. You went nuts. Do you remember that? That's not... I need control here. It's still an espionage thing. We're not trying to kill everyone. And so she says, yeah, I guess I'm just sort of not cut out for this. I remember my I can't even remember. My parents, I guess my father was I think was a soldier, and he went into war, and he was such a brave person, a strong soldier, and he died, and I wanted to understand him. I guess I wanted to try and understand him by becoming a soldier myself and understanding myself, but I suppose if I'm just not made out for that, so on and so forth. I forget all the spiel. She has a bit of emotional turmoil as she doesn't actually know what she wants in life, and she's just sort of been following the things that she thinks she wants because people around her want. I wish I was better at explaining this point, because it's not terribly written, this scene. She is in underwear while it's happening, but... She's having an identity crisis at this point. It is true, and it's not ideal, because at any moment, any of the guards can hear that there are two voices coming from the female bathroom when no women are on this floor at all. I don't know, seems suspicious. But this conversation goes on for a while. And yeah, she talks about all these sorts of things. I'm not sure whether I got all these details right about her father dying or whatever, but she wants to... She's trying to find who she is, and she's starting to come to the realization that trying to be a soldier isn't what she actually wants. I don't know if she actually works out what she does want, but she seems drawn to you because she's a female character in a game and you're a male protagonist. But yeah, so she sort of agrees to sort of help you out but keep the distance because she can't obviously sort of do combat and so on and so forth. Also, you're Snake, yes. Yeah, we're Snake, we're detached. We're not going to get involved. We're a hardened soldier who's been doing this for years. We don't get attached to things. You know, I had to kill my best friend barehanded in a minefield. You don't get attached. So that happens. Hardens. Oh, it's a sock. It's a sock, I say. Oh dear. The clother filled with toilet water. I guess the seat's down, so we're probably fine. I'm assuming. Why didn't she put it back on? Interesting question. Why didn't she still pretend to be a guard afterwards? I don't know. It was just in a pile, yeah. So yeah, we have this back and forth of, you know, Noodle saying, on the battlefield you don't have feelings, you're not supposed to have identity crises, you're not supposed to feel for anybody, you're just supposed to be in the moment, because if you're not in the moment you're gonna die, and all that sort of stuff. The women's bathroom, the seat is down. I mean, like, not the seat, the lid. What I mean. Toxic masculinity. And she's like, but my feelings. And he goes, no feelings. You could die. So yeah, you have this conversation, and she gets a bit sad, but she says, look, I'll come with you, and we'll sort this out at some other point. I won't be a burden, I'll just sort of follow you along. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I've got a gun, it's fine. I think you work out at this point that she picked up the good gun, and then you were just left with whatever was left over. So she has a better gun than you. By which I mean she picked up a gun, you picked up a sock. Why isn't there a bathroom attendant? I mean, I don't know. Well, I probably do know. There's been a coup. This is a hostage situation. I would love for there to be a bathroom attendant just completely oblivious to everything that's just happened. I like that idea. They're a bit of a language barrier. No problem, Chris. It's fine. Need to be a classier coup. Yeah, you can't resort to barbarism. I would just like to point out that I don't think I've ever been in a toilet with an attendant. But maybe I just need to go to classier places. Who knows? Noddle is too deadly. It needs a sock to balance it out. Yes. The man is far too dangerous to have a gun. A sock is deadly enough. So after they've tipped the attendant, they decide to leave together at some point. Provide taxes and gowns to the people being held hostage. You know? I'll probably end up doing that in spoilers. Some finger foods. Ooh. It's more d'oeuvres, maybe? More d'oeuvres before we launch the nuclear weapon? Finger foods for the... Yeah, I assume this is not happening in the bathroom. Yeah, so that happens. And you both decide to leave after you've been given the keycard. Another keycard. No. Yes. No? Yes. A better keycard. And the card that is used to disable the... Or one of the cards that is used to disable or you've been told there sentences. A while ago, hang on, let's just flash back. A while ago, you were told by this fellow that there is a system of keycards which will deactivate the Metal Gear Rex thing, the nuclear launch codes, and you need to find them. And he gave one of them away to a female soldier who was not involved in the coup. That is Cece. And horse doors. What? What's the scores? Horsey doors. Cornelia Korn. That's what Cece. Okay, Cornelia. Go with that. Cornelia Korn. Corn for short. Don't know how to spell horse doors. Was it on screen? Oh yeah. Cornelia Korn can capitulate the card key quickly. I was on an alliteration kick. Thank you, Kira. There's approximately 4 or 5 excessive vowels in there, but that's French. So, nope, horse doves. And straight up, nope, it's horse doves. Definitely horse doves. So yes, she hands you over the key, the card key that is. Hang on, let me just draw this quickly. You haven't left yet. Bother to draw full body. By the way, guess where she pulls the keycard out from? Crow, try, guess again. Yeah, got it in one. I won't draw that. Look, to be fair, this game is based on like cheesy action movies and stuff, so it sort of makes sense. She's buff though. She's been doing a lot of exercises. A very small face for a big head. Left it in. From that's an interesting concept. That I'm not going to explore. Give her a dog face. What? She looks like a Saint Bernard. What? A Saint Bernard is honestly a great hiding place. I mean, I suppose. For something like a card key, I guess. It's just a thin piece of plastic. And it looks approximately like this. I always miss out a whole chunk of a thumb whenever I'm drawing a thumb. Bit big. It's a thing. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. This is a cute dog. Kept many a money in bra in the past. You won't give us pockets or we'll improvise. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. She definitely doesn't have pockets. She's not wearing anything. Might argue she brought that on herself. But, can't complain about lack of pockets when you took all your clothes off. But, and she was wearing male clothes, so... Or male... clothes designed for men. So they probably do have multiple pockets, also because it's a military thing. Want to say trousers have pockets? Probably do. Again, sort of military purposes, pockets aren't useful. Anyway, so she hands over the card key. And you say, rather indignantly, I think, "What? You only one? But aren't there, like... I was told there were multiple card keys to disarm the nuclear thing, and I've got one? That's not good." And she goes, "Well, that's the one I have. The limited amount I can do with the things that I possess. Don't read into that. Our pockets for titties." I mean, not really. I would say that a pocket has to mostly encapsulate something, whereas because you can't really get behind that, it's a cover rather than an encapsulation, and as a consequence, it's not. I wouldn't call it a pocket. Anyway, yes. So you, rather indignantly, anyway, more pockets for women. Absolutely agree. Some bras have pockets that contain padding. Pull that out and oops, you have a pocket. Yeah, that's fair. Pockets for all. That's my campaign slogan. So yeah, you're not happy about the fact that there aren't multiple card keys here, but you know, you'll have to improvise. You have to find out where these other card keys are. No, don't do that try. Sorry. Just had to check I drew these last time. So yeah, so she has the what's it called? The Powell card? Something like that. That is one of the key cards required to deactivate the what was his name? The president of Armstech, the Carl IV, I think we ended up calling him. Carl IV. Yeah, he said, "Hey, you get these and you can..." Oh no, he didn't say that. He said he knew where one was. It was the guy before that, the removable head friend. He told us that there was the keycard system that could deactivate the thing. Anyway, point being is that the DARPA chief, I couldn't remember what we called them, but one of them. So which hot lady has the other one? Spoilers. Don't remember his name. It was Headless McJones. I don't know. Hang on, let's have a look. There was the second stream, so Jeff Headstrong, I believe that was the name. This is why CC is so big, because we just ended up drawing her too big. Jeff Headstrong, indeed. So he told us that there was this multiple car key system and that we should endeavour to find them and use them. And this is one of them, and we don't know where the other two are. So we now leave. Onwards and upwards. Okay. Hero knows. Oh, okay, right. There's just a lot to do. It's just I've got half an hour and I've got to do quite a lot. So, right. So we're walking along the corridor. We remark that a lot of the guards seem to have gone. In fact, none of the guards seem to still be around, which is probably why they weren't bothering us in the bathroom. So that's a bit weird, in and of itself. But even stranger is, as we're walking along, this is how people walk along. It's fine. I've got a lot to draw. I need to go quite quickly. I don't really want to stop in the middle of something. Our friend CC has a bit of a moment. How does one draw a moment? She has put on clothes at this point, but I don't know how much. I think she's wearing like a vest or something. Her head hurts. Yes, she has a bit of a headache. It's not a pleasant time. Anatomy, you fail me again. There's the rest of the body down here. That's like a leg, and there's probably some sort of shoe. So yeah, she's buckled over with a bit of a bad head, and she's doing a bit of a scream. She has a tattoo on one arm as well, foxhound tattoo. If anyone's just joined the stream and you're looking at this and thinking, why is this person streaming something like this? Good question. I can draw better than this, I promise, if I have more than 2 minutes. So yeah, she has a bit of a thing, bit of a scream, bit of a headache, and it's and she gets up and goes, "No, it's fine. Don't worry. It was a bit weird. I'm fine now. Everything's great." You then walk through one more door. Then she goes, "Everything's not fine. I feel weird." Then, I mean, that's how hands do. I mean, I've been through some courses, you know. You pick these things up. Honestly, probably took longer to write that than it would have done to draw a simple hand, but so yeah, and I remember this being kind of stilted because she has the headache, collapses to the floor, screaming, this hurts. Then she gets up and she goes, "Nope, it's fine, don't worry about it." You go through a door, and then she goes, "Everything's not kind of fine," and then there are lots of weird flashes. You aspire to be as good as artist as me one day. Yes, I know. Well, first you need to study calligraphy. So, he says, looking at this terrible, literally handwriting. But, can she fart? Oh, she can fart, I don't know why not. So, yeah, and there's lots of flashes and there's lots of weird, it's very Stranger in the Remake, fair enough. And then she sort of starts wobbling a bit, and then it says, "No, it's fine. Let's continue through this door. After you, Noodle. Which is perfectly fine. So you go for another door. There's a lot of doors in this corridor. There we go. So then you walk through another door. For there are many. Just and then you walk into a room. There are no more doors in this room. You're safe.
Normal toot. Just a normal toot.
Normal toot. What? Just trying to think of the sequence of events that happen here. So then.
Equals 3.
Equals 3. What equals 3? It's a mess, you don't remember exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of bits that are sort of repeated in this part as well, which doesn't help with the sort of storytelling, but it's sort of thing. So... Oh, eyebrows working? So yeah, she starts speaking a very strange voice. And saying, "Come here, Noodle. Don't you like me, Noodle?" I don't. She says, what did she said toot. Oh, I see, that was the toot. Oh, I get it. I thought that was the face, the smiley face. This part is you, yes. I mean, I can skip that line, that's fine, we don't need that. But... but she starts sort of coming towards you, and you're like, you're not acting right. What's going on with you? She says, "There's nothing wrong with me. Come here." And you pull out your gun, and you go, "Don't come closer, please. That's not a nice thing for you to be doing." Because I don't know you, and you're acting very strangely. I know you're the niece and all, and so on and so forth, but here's a deterrent. I won't use it, it's fine. You're a nice person, but you're not acting yourself, so let's try and be safe, eh? Oh yeah, sorry, a sock. Actually makes this part of the game relatively easy. My apologies. I don't know where I got the idea that you had had a gun. That's not in the game at all. You vaguely remember this. I mean, it makes sense if you remember this particular part of the game. How do you do like a kind of wibbly sort of thing? And so she's like, "Oh, come to me, please," so on and so forth. And you say no. And it's at that point you start to see things. Which I have to draw. Give me a second. Always draw the arm in front first, and then you don't have to worry about what's going on behind it. So many things in the remake, especially. I mean, yeah, I don't know how much of this to sort of really go over. She's wearing boots now. It's fine. And she's not walking straight. She's wobbling around. It's all a bit of a mess, really. But yes, then you start to see things behind her. Sense of scale. Yes, it's the gas mask friend who you saw before, also floating behind her. Gosh golly, I didn't see that coming. Wearing like sort of weird strappy sort of thing. King Vader Mark 1.
Do a shot with me, she cries out, as she stumbles into the wall, and toots for a fourth time.
It's Jaeger Bomb night. 50% off. Thank you for the color text. What's it called? Flavor text? That's the one. Flavor text. Color. I'm sure it's a thing. It is flavor text, yeah. So yeah, I can't remember what this person wears, so I'm just going to guess there's a lot of straps and leather. Possibly gloves? Fingerless gloves? That seems matrixy enough. It sort of wibbles off some sort of strange apparition. Can't remember, there's sort of like a weird sort of leathery, whatever. So you see that floating and you're like, what? Well, then now go full bondage. I mean, not my area of expertise, so well, there you go. There's my expertise on bondage. The first thing that comes to mind is elbow pads. What? Let's draw some elbow pads. Why not? That's bondage, isn't it? Safety first. To get those elbows protected, let's, you know, don't want anyone getting hurt. It's supposed to be a good time. Some armbands. Belts, beltage, lots of belts. Are we doing a Lulu here, or are we doing a skirt made of belts? Why not? Anyway. So we have this friend floating above. I have 15 minutes. And you can tell that he's sort of mimicking the movements of her, and this is all something strange. And he goes, oh, you can see me, that's interesting. Well, let's see how you see this. And then a fight starts. And the fight is you versus Cece. And you get a phone call. Ring, ring. I don't have the sound effects up, hang on. Get those up. That's not a sound effect.
Psycho Mantis, the party don't start till I float in.
He's a party man. Where's my thing? You get a phone call. Is that gonna work? There it is. It's not violent. It is, unsurprisingly, Cuddlecorn. And he goes, that's my niece. This is a boss fight. I know there's a health bar. Don't kill her. Kinda fond of her, because she's my niece. So, try and find another way around this, without shooting her in the head with your sock.
You like to play Final Fantasy and Forest of Doom.
We'll get to that. So, yeah, so you get the phone call and he says, don't kill her. Just do something else. So you pull out your sock, which is a non-lethal weapon, and you just sort of slap her around the face with it, I guess. And the smell is just strong enough that she falls unconscious, and it's fine. So she's now unconscious on the floor, and Mr. Gas Mask pops up and goes, "How dare you? I suppose I better take you on myself, but before then I will do my evil villain monologue." Sorry. And he says, "I have powers. My name is insert name here." And I believe he has do you have a Russian accent? Possibly. I don't know. I can't do accents. So, name? Yeah, feel free to come up with a name for this floating bondage friend. King Vader has been taken. But feel free to do a variation thereof. I think it's Rush because I kind of remember the story behind his... We'll find out. Elbow Daddy. Full gag. Oh dear. I mean, like, normally I was going to say chastise, but that sounds bad in this particular scenario. I would tell you off for this sort of thing, but honestly, the game doesn't help. I can't blame you for this. River Sea Invader. That makes sense for what is about to happen. So, Anna Kink Beltwalker. I would chastise is to... it has multiple meanings. Don't worry. Are you my mummy? No. So he goes, "Yes, I have these wonderful powers. Let me demonstrate my powers to you. Put your controller on the floor, and I will show you my psychokinesis." So either you're very young and you do what he says, or you're old and you go, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to sit up." And he goes, "I will now move your controller with the power of my mind." And then the controller vibrates and it moves along the floor. Vibrating controllers were a new thing. It was clever at the time. He controlled something in the real world, which would be impressive were it not for the fact that 2 streams ago our main character came out of the TV and said hello to me. Yeah. But other than that... Bondage, James Bondage. Oh no. So James Bondage. Oh no, I'm never gonna be able to watch James Bond in the same way. It's how Noodle got CC's codec. Oh yes, yeah. That was where, yeah, because we had to read the back of the box, if you remember correctly, to get CC's phone number. So anyway, James Bondage continues his speech and says, Are you not impressed? Are you not impressed by my tricks? I have more. Let's see, I will now dive deep into your mind. You skip streams quite frequently. That's very naughty of you. Shouldn't do that. Try and be consistent with these things. How about some more? What was it you said earlier? I see you play Final Fan Jesse and the Forest of Doom. I can read your mind. He reads the memory card. That's what he does. The CC numbers were scrolled on the screen. Nope. They'd use the word naughty, Mr. Bondage. So yeah, he does all this. Blew your mind, yeah, because he specifically names, like they recorded a bunch of voice lines for names on the PlayStation 1, or games on the PlayStation 1, and I suppose subsequently on the GameCube. And he if you have save data for those games, he'll say, "Ah, you play these games. You play Castlevania," or whatever. Which is pretty cool. A lot of sort of breaking the fourth wall sort of thing. And he goes, "Enough of this. I've done my evil villain spiel. You knew you played Spyro. Interesting. Got the Castlevania." It sounds good in that voice. Not my voice, but whatever. I'm definitely going to need a drink after this. So then he says, "Now it's time to fight. Because I've now been in your brain and I've shown off my things. And I need to show off because that's my thing." So then you start the fight. And your screen goes black. And you're a bit confused. And then your screen comes back in. Let's grab this. So to duplicate that. In the background somewhere. And he's now behind you, and he can now hit you with psychokinesis. Mind bullets! That's telekinesis. And then he hits you around the head with shockwaves that he shoots from his brain. And then they hit you and they hurt. And you turn around and you try and slap him with the sock, and nothing happens. Which is a bit confusing. And then the screen goes black again. And then it happens again, and you turn around and you try and fight him, and nothing happens, and then he hits you with some more mind bullets, and then the screen goes black again, and it's all very confusing. And so, if you're clever, more intelligent than I was when I was a kid, you phone for help, and you ring up your superior officer, and they say, well, you say, "James Bondage has entered my mind." There's a sentence. No, you're not. That's not your voice. You go, "James Bondage is in my head, and I can't hit him because he knows exactly what I'm going to do." This is all very strange. You think you need to... Yeah, I think I heard about this from other people. But there is actually... the game does explicitly tell you. And Colonel Korn says, "Well, if he's trying to take control of you, then why don't you try and take control back by switching your controller into the second controller port? That way he won't know what you're doing. He won't be able to read your inputs, because you know he can get in your controller because it vibrated along the floor. See, it's clever, you know." So you unplug your controller and you put it in controller port 2. This is why I mentioned before that on a virtual console you have to do that through a menu. There's a lot of fourth wall stuff in this. And then you go back to the fight. And the black screens don't pop up anymore, and now you can actually hurt him, because he can't read your mind, because you're not in the place. Your mind is no longer in the place he thought it was, so you can now hit him a bit, and he throws around. He can still hit you by taking pictures off of walls and throwing them at your head, and statues and stuff. He likes just breaking furniture. Actually, he doesn't break furniture. That's too much for the PlayStation 1 to handle. He just hits you with it and then puts it back. So a fight ensues in which you do sock slapping and stuff. Halfway through the fight, if you're not fast enough, the screen will go black again, and you'll realise, oh, he's caught up with my tricks, and then you swap the controller port back to controller port 1, and then you can carry on like usual. So... then halfway through, he picks up CC again, you knock her out with a sock again, and then you do some more fighting. not entirely sure why that happens. But yeah, all the time, you'll keep forgetting to put the controller back into player port 1 after this fight, and you had a moment of, why am I not moving? Yes, you do have to put it back afterwards. Which is fair enough. If you're watching the cutscene, there's like a 5-minute cutscene after this. You just forget what you've done. So yeah, you eventually do the fight. I should point out that when you have unplugged your controller and put it into a different controller port, he says, "Why can't I read your mind? What's happening?" Like, he's very explicitly pointed out that you've done the right thing. Well done. So there's a bit of feedback in that respect, but it's still, this is essentially a gimmick boss, you know. And yeah, after you've defeated him, congratulations, you've defeated James Bondage. And he now lies on the floor, all hurted from the being killed with a sock. And what did I draw there? What is this? Some sort of weird flipper. And so yeah, you're on the floor. He's on the floor, sorry, with all his belts. Some of them have been unbuckled. That's how you know he's injured. But the belts fall off as the fight happens. That's how you know you're doing damage. That's not true. He does actually have legs as well. Well, yeah, you know, I'll give him heals. How do you draw heals? Anyway, so he's dead on the floor, and he goes, "Right, well, he's not dead. He's speaking. You're crouching over. Yes, I've got to draw that. So, you take off his gas mask and smooch him, he becomes a prince." No, you start wearing gas masks. That's what happened. Under the mask is another mask. So yeah, he's going. This anatomy is problematic. Problematomy. And you're leaning over and you're going, "Yeah, what are you exactly? How are you doing this psychic nonsense? Is this real? In this world, is psychic stuff real?" And he goes, "I'm afraid so." And he says, "See, I had a problem, which is I'm psychic, and you might not think that's a problem, but it's a problem because I can't turn it off. And my earliest memories were of delving into my father's mind, and all I saw in there was hate. Hate for me, because my mother died in childbirth, and he didn't like that. And yes, sad story time. And I basically went mental and killed everybody. Because all I saw in the hearts of all men was hate."
Psychomantis, stop undressing me in your mind, noodle.
Yes. Under the mask is a butt mask, and under that mask is a face that toots. I can't draw that in terms of service. So yeah, he goes, "Yes, and I kind of went a little bit mental, and everybody in the village died because the human race is horrible. They all want the same thing, which is just to pass on their genetics to the next. They just want to have sex. Terrible. It's the same bloody thing over and over again. Every person's brain I go into, they just want to have sex." I was telling a sad story. No, it devolves into him having a go at people wanting to have sex. That's just whatever. Or wanting to procreate, anyway. More accurately. And he says, but you're different. You, Mr. Noodle, you're different. You don't think about that. You're not thinking about anything but what's happening at the moment.
They all wanted to bone, so I turned them to bones.
Exactly. See? Someone gets the poetic irony. Oh dear, this is not good on my throat. You feel that, James Bondage? You're not like other guys. Is that where this scene's going? Yeah, and he says, so that's why I wear this mask. Because that's how I stop people's thoughts from forcing their way into my head. There's some sort of analogy to consent there. So, yes, and they decide to take off his mask at this point. I have to draw CC very quickly. And there she is. Right. So yes, they decide to take off his mask, and they see a face. Perhaps unsurprisingly. But it's a bit sort of mangly and nasty, and there's like scars all over. There's lots of sort of big wounds and stuff. Yeah, just so many. So like there's just so many wounds. You can't even make out the facial features. No eyes here. Don't worry about it.
Have you ever tried moisturizing?
Moisturizing. I know we spell it with an S, Hazel, but that's not really that much of a leap. Oh dear. There are scars around his skull, like they looked into his brain. Yeah, so that he says, they experimented on me. They did all sorts of weird things. And then they sent me out to war to kill people, which I was fine with because I've already killed quite a lot of people. And everybody had the same thoughts, and it drove me mad. And scars around his mouth, on the cheeks, really awful. Oh dear. Lovely. Oh yeah, doesn't he have like a sort of thing like that? I don't know. Moisture easy.
They call me Moisture Easy.
Oh dear. I'm gonna have a difficult time picking a title for this stream. So many good choices. Yeah. So he goes, and yeah, so I've had a bit of a bad time of it, to be honest. I'm not looking for sympathy. I've done bad things, but altogether, I think you can probably understand that I've had some problems. Also, why my voice sounds like this, and why I occasionally like to engage in a bit of bondage. Takes my mind off things. Bit of a Voldemort nose, long nostrils. No facial features. Again, I think when I watched the movie, I watched the PS1 version, so it's just polygons. I imagine the remake's probably a bit more graphic. For some reason, you just got the bit from Monty Python, everyone's unique, I'm not, stuck in my head. I'm not. I love that. Boning takes my mind off bone. Yeah, it's just doing bondage. There's no boning involved, it's just bondage. I never watch cutscenes. I have no idea what the ending of this game is. I'm going to picture him right now because you couldn't remember exactly. He's real bad. The remake version is real bad. I'll look it up later. So he says, one last request. Oh no, hang on, he doesn't do that. He goes, hang on, let me show you the way, because I know where you're supposed to go now, and you need some exposition. You see, you probably want to get to the communications tower because that's how they're going to communicate with hostage thing. And you're going to want to stop them doing that because otherwise they're going to send bombs. So the communications tower is this way, behind a hidden door, behind a bookcase. And then he holds up his hand and he slides the bookcase away. In perspective, but I can't do that. And then there's a door behind the thing. So there was a door after all. Wonderful. He says, if you go that way, you'll get to the communications tower. So you can do things. Ha! And you say, thank you. Very kind of you. Why are you doing this? Why are you helping us suddenly? You're one of the terrorists? You're about to die? Why are you helping us? And he goes, I think this is when he says, because your brain's different. You don't think about sex all the time. You're thinking about the mission. You're just like the boss. It's very similar to you, you know. One more thing. One last thing. Put my mask back on. I'd like to die in silence, please. When, like, everybody's brains forcing themselves into mine. I just want to die in quiet. So you put the mask back on. Look, like that. Hang on. You showed us the door. Have some sympathy. Thank you very much. Now I can die in peace. And then he dies. You deserve to die hearing everyone's thoughts about sex. I've just worked out what I need to draw next. That's going to be a good start to the next stream, given my history. It's not a horse, don't worry. So, yeah, that was this stream. Some stuff happened. My voice is shot. My throat is a bit rough now. It was worth it. It's the only voice I've done in this whole thing. Yeah. So a lot happened. Hopefully it was relatively clear what happened. Lots of fourth wall breaking stuff. Few too many missing clothes.
You do sound a little hoarse.
Ha
Hear my sex thoughts, you boob. Butts, 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 butts.
I love your alternate reality version of this game. It's just like Snake is just over the dying body of or Noodle's just over the dying body of James Bondage, just shouting butts. And then the bathroom attendant comes in and goes, "Excuse me, is something wrong?" Yeah, and it wasn't about. I believe the expression he uses is passing on their seed. Just sort of a genetic thing. It's not actual sex. It's just the desire to procreate and keep one's genes going, which is in the back of everyone's minds. Apparently. Pleased to say not mine, but there we go. Oh dear. You're always worried about your genes. That's fair. Anyway, look, it's the game.
Seeds and genes.
Seeds and genes. Seeds and genes. It's not my love. No. We're going to end the stream. Thank you for coming along. Next week is some stuff. Potentially Noodle in underwear? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, probably, yeah. So look forward to that. And, more importantly, a decision. A decision is to be made next week. So, Noodle in sexy underwear. Look, I'm not going to judge what he's wearing under these clothes. Sorry for sleeping through parts of it. No, don't apologise, Octo. I'm glad you're here at all. Hope you had a good time. And the VOD's always there if you want to watch the rest of it. Just some pants that fit around my bum. The jeans are not my son. Oh dear. Don't think you should vote? That's fair. So yes, there will be the one and only decision that you need to make over the course of this draw through. Well, that will be next week probably. So yeah. Thank you for coming along. I hope you have a wonderful time doing whatever it is you're doing in between now and when I next speak at you, and then you text at me. Hello, Octo, yay. Yeah. Most likely next week. It should, because it's not in game. There's a lot of stuff to do, but in the drawing, we don't have to do much. Mostly flicking back to things we've already seen. Anyway, blah 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 blah. We'll do that next Tuesday. As for further streams, let us on the call. We'll shout at you in person. I wonder if there's a way we could do something like that. Might be quite fun. Try and work something out that is voice call, sort of. I don't know, some sort of modifier to me doing a thing. I don't know. Where is the sun? Can you do that with like a zero, an O, a lowercase O, and then a 0, so it looks like a gas mask in the middle? I can do James Bondage. I don't know if that will work. Anyway, thank you for coming along. We have tomorrow. We have Dark Souls. We're continuing with that mess of a stream. I have no idea where any of the fog gates were, so that's going to be fun. Trying to remember some of that. We found Andre last time, didn't we? So we got a hub. That's nice. Yes, and then on Saturday a creative stream might do music. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, they're both kind of work. Anywho, yes. So Dark Souls tomorrow. Music stream possibly on Saturday. More Dark Souls on Sunday, and then back to this on Tuesday. Many other good streams in the meantime, whoever may or may not be streaming. I presume there'll be a Chibi stream on Thursday, but it's not good to presume. You know what they say? When you presume, you make the press out of you and me. Yeah, Chibi stream. So thank you for coming along, and have a wonderful time, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I now need to rest my throat. Goodbye.